Gemini, big welcome to you. This is your tarot reading for the month of January, coming from the mountains of Java. Now, the starting picture isn't of Java, where it never snows. No, it's of Broseley in Shropshire, close to my hometown of Shrewsbury. Gemini, I hope you really get something useful from this, I sincerely do. Gemini, this doesn't look a bad reading. It does look as though maybe it's psychological or certainly spiritual. When we look at that middle card, Ace of Cups, that suggests love, a new love. And this impacts on the entire reading, so I need to bear that in mind as I interpret the other cards. In your recent past, we have the Lovers card, so we've got love again here, so maybe that was the new love. Maybe you've already found it. A divine love, I might add. We now have the Judgment card. This is a sort of a day of judgment. So it's a spiritual, a religious, maybe a karmic judgment. In the future we have the Chariot. This is you finding balance, having a degree of pace, knowing where you're going, a sense of direction. But the energy impacting on the outcome is the Three of Cups. Quite contemplation, sorting your head out, but maybe missing a few opportunities as a result. What would prevent the outcome is the Eight of Swords, and that's self-imposed restrictions. The outcome itself is the Hierophant card, which suggests to me that you end up with formal religion. It could be just a sort of conservative way of doing things, but I do feel this is quite a spiritual reading, so I think it is about religion. Clearly I want to find out much more about all of this, and I hope so do you, and you'll continue listening. If it's having some resonance, if I can ask you to hit the like button, make a comment, but also to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so that you get future notifications. In anticipation of you doing those small things for me, I'd like to thank you profusely, Gemini. You may well be asking, why from Java? What's important about tarot from Java? And the truth is, there is nothing so important about tarot from Java. Simply that here in Java, we have many different spirits who will come to help in your tarot reading. It'll probably put a different reflection on things. For example, the spirits here are less likely to be concerned about love and finances, despite people in Java being every bit as interested in these things as the rest of us. But maybe the spirits are trying to tell us something else. Now I'll be using probably 2 decks, but out of 3 decks. So the first deck is Tarot Nusantara, the second deck is the Steampunk deck, and the third deck is the Light Visions Tarot. Tarot Nusantara is actually a new one to me, which I love, whereas the Light Visions I've struggled with as a result of the rendering. Although I think I'll grow into it, I will keep using it and coming back to it. You can see on all of them I'm using quite a lot of salt, and that's to clear the energy and the spirits from them, something that I do fairly regularly with my tarot. And I also, you'll see a number of Jimat there that I use just to bring a good energy to the tarot and to my reading. Perhaps the most important mystical object we use in Java is the kris, the curly knife that you can see that I've placed across both decks. Kris are very important for bringing the spirits to work on any object here in Java. spirits on the mountain, I call upon you to assist me in shuffling the cards, in selecting the right cards and interpret them correctly for Gemini for January 2023. The overall energy is that of the Ace of Cups, which suggests to me that this reading is about love. Normally I'd say a new and divine love, but there does appear to be a love in the past. It might be the very recent past, so it's probably we're talking the same thing. You look at the card, well, there's the bluebird dropping a coin into that cup, and the cup spilling over with love into the lake with the water hyacinth on it. The cup has got wings, and there's a hand holding up the cup with a cloud behind it. So it suggests it's a divine love. It suggests there's some degree of fate in this, that it's meant to happen. As I say, this runs throughout the entire reading, so I need to interpret all those cards, all the other cards, in the light of this. Yeah, a lovely card to have in that position. Now, in your recent past, we have the Lovers card, which clearly is about love and lovers. So I'm sure that, well, I'm pretty sure this is the same love that we're referring to in the overall theme. Again, it's something of a divine love. You know, the sun's shining down on them, so many blessings. There's an angel in the sky. It's definitely Adam and Eve, isn't it? So it's the Garden of Eden, because Eve's got the apples and Adam has the fig leaves. In between them is a Hawaiian character known as a Gunungun, which is three-sided: the known side, the unknown, and the hidden side. Is that relevant? I'm not sure at this moment. I'm not sure. I do feel this is something of a psychological reading, so maybe it is, but I can't be certain. Your current energy is the Judgment card, which means it's the day of judgment. So it's a spiritual, a karmic, a religious judgment. I mean, you know, you could be getting blessings from it, couldn't you? So it's not necessarily a bad, well, it's a good thing, whatever, but, you know, it's not necessarily a judgment against you. Not even certain you need to be repenting for your sins in it. I'm not certain that's what it's about. You look at the card, I mean, it always reminds me of my favourite painting, Stanley Spencer, which I think is called The Day of Judgment, and it shows people crawling out of their graves in Cookham Church to face the Day of Judgment. I wonder if this love has caused a spiritual reawakening in you. Maybe that's what's going on. And your future energy is that the Chariot card. This is you finding a balance. You're finding a direction. You're finding a sense of purpose. Moving quickly and in control. You look at the card, there's a Hindu temple and a Buddhist temple in the background. He's got his hands on the reins of those horses, so he's in control, but one's black and one's white. Clearly moving fast. It's a great card, you know, a sense of purpose, a sense of knowing where you're going. I get the impression that this new love has made you, a spiritual reawakening and got you to find out what you're really about. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good, Gemini. Now the next energy is that of the Four of Cups, and this is the energy that impacts on the outcome. And I have to say, chronologically, this is almost certainly before the Chariot card, which is the future. So I think this is before you found this sense of direction, and this is you quietly contemplating, quietly getting your head sorted out. So you can see he's sitting under a tree just thinking about what he's got, thinking about the world, thinking about his life, thinking about his beliefs maybe. He's focusing on those 3 cups, what he can see in front of him. But behind his back is a further cup being held up by a hand with that swirling cloud-like thing, suggesting that's divine, that's fate. But he's ignoring that. He can't see it. Sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes we do need to clear our heads. Sometimes we do need to know what our problems, our restrictions, even our dark side might be. And I think it's going through this process that leads to your sense of direction. Now, I don't quite know why you needed to sort your head out, but you certainly did, because now we have the 8 of Swords, and this changes the outcome. And the 8 of Swords is self-imposed restrictions. I was just about to say I don't know what they're about, but given that the outcome is the Hierophant card, which is almost certainly formal religion, I think you have some sort of problems with committing to formal religion. And I also think that probably this new love, who might be a religious person, has made you change your views on that. That's how it's feeling to me at the moment. You look at the card and you see she's bound up and blindfolded, and she's got those 8 swords preventing her from moving, but she wouldn't know anyway because she's blindfolded. I think the tide is going out rather than coming in, but clearly to be in that position when the tide is coming in would be very bad. And if she was to take the blindfold off, she should see a lovely village on top of that cliff. Might be difficult to get to it, but nevertheless it looks to be something that's worth doing. And I think that's the promise of religion. That's how it feels at the moment. The game away, haven't I? The ending is the Hierophant card, which I'm almost certain means formal religion. It could be, you know, a sort of tried and tested ways of doing things, learning from others' tried and tested ways of doing things, but no, I think it's about religion. I've used the word spirituality in the past, but this is a formal religion. If it is New Age, then it's a formal structure to that New Age, but no, I think it's actual religion. You look at the card, I mean, it's ecumenical, as these cards often are, and there's the Hierophant imparting his wisdom to those learners, and they're lapping it all up, but his learning will be tried and tested, maybe a little bit conservative, and I think that's what you're embracing. But before I get ahead of myself, I want a little bit of clarity on it all. Now I'm going to seek clarity on the 4 of Cups. And I think it's because if we understand what it is that you're contemplating, then the rest falls into place. But looking at the cards, I'm not too certain they clarify it that well. The first card is the 6 of Wands, you scoring some victories. So maybe that's you moving towards something. So if it is about religion, maybe you're starting that process. But we then have the 2 of Swords. This is a difficult decision to make. And finally we have the 7 of Pentacles, which is long-term investments. So I'm not certain that it confirms it's about religion, but if we do see it as religion, then it maybe falls into place. Now the first card of clarity is this 6 of, I've got to say it's 6 of Wands. Is it a 6 of Wands? It's 6 of Wands, and this is about you scoring a victory. It's winning a battle rather than the war, but you get public recognition for it. Now, I often try and look at this rendering to see if anybody looks jealous. They don't really, and that's not the normal interpretation of it, but sometimes I wonder if people do get jealous over this victory. But no, I think it's public recognition. Putting it back into the context of religion, if I think of myself, I was baptised at St Chad's Church in Shrewsbury, and my mother and father didn't really go to church when I was young. They were very busy, they had a shop, and also the vicar at the village used to criticise my father at every opportunity, so they didn't really used to go to church. So I wasn't brought up as a churchgoer, but at around 16 I started attending St Chad's again, and I got confirmed. Well, you normally get confirmed at about 12. Well, it depends if you're Catholic or not, but you know, some are 12 or earlier, but I was quite old, I was 16, but I ended up on altar boy, and it could be that sort of thing, you know, public recognition of me being confirmed back into St Chad's, you know, could be that sort of thing, I'm not sure. The next card of clarity is the Two of Swords. This is an important decision to make, a decision that you don't feel capable of making. You look at her, she's on a tightrope, holding up those two swords on a pointed feet. So it must be difficult balancing act. And the swords look identical, so how could she choose? Well, she couldn't choose anyway because of it's night time. I mean, there is a moon, maybe she could inspect them, but she's blindfolded. So till she takes that blindfold off, she wouldn't know. Oh, and of course, this is about your reflection, you know, your contemplation. So the contemplation is about you removing the blindfold so that you can make this important decision. Maybe you've grown up with another religion and this is changing religion. Maybe you've grown up an atheist, maybe even a militant atheist, as I sort of was perilously close to becoming at one point in my life. And therefore it's a very difficult decision to embrace a formal religion. Yeah. And the final card of clarity is the Seven of Pentacles, long-term investments. And you look at him, well, he's literally growing money, so it is long-term investments. But is this about money? I'm not too certain it is. Are you investing in this new love, your future partnership? Well, remember that the Ace of Pentacles runs throughout, so very strong suggestion that that's it. Or are you investing for your future life, believing that you will get redemption from embracing a formal religion? Could well be, because remember we do have that Day of Judgment card there. So it could be either, but it feels like you're doing the right thing and you're doing it because you see it as something you need to do for the long term. Gemini, it would seem that in the recent past you met a new love, a new and divine love that feels absolutely right for you, and you're planning to be with them for a long time, well, forever, you know, but you're long-term planning with them. But I strongly suspect that they're a very religious person. Now, maybe you are, but in order for you to be with them, I think you need to change religions. But I more get the impression that you're an atheist or an agnostic. So you're sort of feeling that you need to embrace religion to be with this person. And, you know, you're thinking about it, you're contemplating. And I think in the past you've put up real barriers. So, yeah, I do think not only are you an atheist, but you might be what I might describe as a militant atheist. So formal religion is something of an anathema to you. And you're having to work out your value systems. You're having to work out, you know, what your values are and what do you really want in life. And I think you begin to realise, well, first of all, you start to have some sort of small victories in embracing religion, which does say to you, well, maybe this is the right thing to be doing. But I think the conclusion you reach is that for your long-term happiness, this is something that's worth doing. So abandoning your prejudices is wrong word. Abandoning your previous beliefs. And so you emerge out of this contemplation with a sense of direction, a sense of balance, with a real degree of pace to you, feeling in control of your life. And yes, you do indeed embrace this religion. Fair play to you, Gemini. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed Tarot from Java as an addition to my channel, The Magic of Java. Please take a look at the other videos that I have on this channel about magic from Java, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. Now, if you want to hear your next tarot reading, hit the button, and that will inform you of when I publish new readings. I'm certainly going to do a reading for every month, but maybe I will try them a bit more frequently, say a mid-month reading, and maybe also some special readings. But above all, thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, and enjoy Java.